asked me the other day, has the oil industry hurt Missouri City? Well, it probably has to some degree, but we're 15 minutes away from the medical center. A lot of our employee base work in the medical center. So that area has continued to grow. We signed a 7-year contract with these guys at this table right here, WCA, our waste corporation, for collection of residential, commercial, and recyclable materials. This consolidation and implementation of a cart system, and if you've not seen it, it's amazing. You don't even have guys on the back of the truck who picks it up and dumps it. But it created an average monthly savings per household in Missouri City of $6.14 per household. Overall, it's an annual savings to the residents of Missouri City of $1.6 million, which resulted in a 66% reduction. We launched the conceptual planning and design of a future city hall. And by the way, it hasn't moved. It's still where it is today. But in that conceptual plan, we will have a veterans memorial to honor the veterans in our city and other veterans as well. Yes. It will have an amphitheater. It will have public artworks and other landmarks that will go along with it. Let me talk about one of the areas that I think most of us get concerned about in today's environment, and that's our public safety. We implemented our officers wearing body cameras, and I know Representative Miller and Representative Reynolds are here, and thank you all for the legislature of pushing that to make sure that our guys are protected with that, and that's exactly what body cameras do. It protects them, not from the bullet, from the accusations, the false accusations. And so it's important, for the general public to know that, when these people leave the house every day and they kiss their wife or their husband goodbye, they're really not sure whether they're going to be back that afternoon or that night. Because everybody they stop on the highway today is a threat to them. 4 out of 5 cars in the street today has a gun in it. And not all of those are licensed carriers who know how to take care of it. A lot of those are threats to our law enforcement people. So our body cameras are not going to protect their lives. They're going to wear bulletproof vests for that, hopefully, but it's going to protect their reputation, and which I think is probably more important than anything. We partnered with DEA, the Drug Enforcement Agency, to help our community dispose of more than 980 pounds of prescription drugs. And we'll be doing that again here very shortly. We have drop-off facilities at the police station. Do not flush drugs. They get into the water system. And right now I'm involved in the DEA Academy, and one of the ways that if you want to dispose of it, you crush it and you mix it with cat litter. And you put it in a bag and you put it in that blue can, or that blue dumpster. If it's with cat litter, they won't take it, hopefully, and they can't mix it with something else. But I thought that was an interesting suggestion of what to do with it. DAs, those are some crazy people, but I don't know where they came up with the idea of putting it with cat litter, but if you want to dispose of it and you don't want to take it there, that's one way of doing it. One of the things that enjoys me the most as being mayor is that typically once a year I go to Washington, D.C. and get on my knees and beg the Justice Department and everybody else I can get for grants for the city of Missouri City. A couple of years ago, we were very fortunate to get an $850,000 grant from the Justice Department that allowed us to hire police officers. This past year, we were very fortunate, and at that time, we were only one of 2 cities in the state of Texas that got anything. This past year, we were very fortunate to sell the Justice Department on the fact that we needed some more money, and we got another $500,000. So that allowed us to implement our COPS grant program and continue doing what we're doing today with our officers. And what that did, it allowed us to hire 4 additional police officers. Now let me tell you about this. These are 3-year grants. We talk about the budget. At the end of 3 years, I've got to absorb those 3 officers. So we got to make sure that we're managing our budget well enough to do that as well. We don't just hire them for 3 years and then fire them. You know, we got to keep the guys around. So, and you know what? It's what we do with the money that makes it so easy for the Justice Department to continue to give us those grants. Again, this year we were only one of 2 cities. The Justice Department doesn't have a big budget just like anything else, so they're very selective. But what we're doing with our going into the elementary schools, dare to follow the rules, all of those things, working with our communities, our community policing program. That's what they want to hear about. And when I go to Washington, D.C., they get thousands of letters from cities. But I feel like, and the chief knows this, when we can sit down across the table and talk to the people that are doling out that money, and we can tell them what we're doing with their money and show them what we're doing with their money, they're a lot more, agreeable to giving us more than to just answer a letter. So that's why it's important that we do that. And I enjoy doing it. I enjoy bragging about what we're doing while we are one. It's kind of ironic that I go to them and beg for money, but yet I tell them we're one of the safest cities in the United States. But I said it's because of your money that we are the safest. So keep bringing it. I don't know how many of you have been able to introduce yourselves to one of the 5 motorcycle officers we have, or that they introduce themselves to you. Hi, ma'am. I'm one of the motorcycle officers here. Did you forget to stop? But that's something else that we worked on for a long time, because what's important about our motorcycle units is that they can work the major thoroughfares. They can work the accidents. They can hide. No, somebody told me they were hiding behind the signs. I said, well, if you're not speeding, then don't worry about it. But it gives our other officers, patrol officers who are in the cars, to work the neighborhoods. And again, that's one of the reasons that we're one of the safest cities in the United States. We don't have the officers per capita that other cities do, but we have the best per capita of any city. One of the things that we're, I guess, a stickler about is code enforcement. Code enforcement is so instrumental to any community keeping its reputation up. And we've got a great code enforcement division that is going around the city making sure that the houses are looking right, that the grass is cut, that the WCA containers are screened. If you notice, I think we probably still have the signs up. We've got a sweep going on right now about that, and trying to educate people that they can't just leave garbage cans out on the street all the time. One of the things that our fire department did this past year that affects those people who live within Missouri City is that, your insurance rating is based on your ISO rating. And that ISO rating determines, both commercially and residential, what your fire rate's going to be. And through the great work of Russell Sander, who decided he wanted to move to Marble Falls. I don't know why, but no, I really do. I mean, his family's there, and he was there to take care of his elderly family. But anyway, through their efforts, we were able to get a Class 1 public protection class rating, which is the highest rating that you can receive. Now, you don't think there's that much? There's only 46 cities in the state of Texas that have that, and only 97 in the nation that have a Class 1 rating. And so that's going to mean, hopefully, by August sometime when it goes into effect, that your insurance rating, both commercially and residential, is going to see a reduction. So we opened fire station number 5. Fire station number 5 is in the very back of Siena. And everybody goes, well, why did you open a fire station in Siena? Well, they paid for it, that's why. Everybody talks about, Siena does this, Siena does that. I've said this and I'll continue to say it. Siena and places like Riverstone are not only the golden goose, they're the golden egg. But through their mud district, they're paying for that fire station in the back of that subdivision, even though it's not in the city limits. It's important to us to know that the residents of Sienna have protection. So working through that, working with the mud districts, working with the citizens, we were able to open that station and now feel much more comfortable in serving that back of that community. You know, we saw what happened in Bastrop and other communities, and that's our concern, is that that same thing can happen in a heavily forested area. If you don't have the protection back there, there's going to be consequences for it. One of the things that we also earned this year, one of the awards, was through the Texas Municipal League, and it was the Texas Municipal League Excellence Award. And what that Excellence Award is for is, and where's our fire chief from Sugar Land? No, he's here. You know, when you call 911 for an emergency, typically $1 million fire truck makes that call at $56 a mile to make that call. Roughly $1,500 per call. Takes those firefighters out of their normal duty to make that call. So one of those things that we implemented this year was a squad program where we're using an SUV at, you know, a lot cheaper. If it gets torn up, I'm not worried about it. $1 million truck I'm really worried about, but it operates, you know, at more like, you know, maybe 20 cents a mile or something like that. But what's more important, it leaves that fire truck, that big fire truck, in the fire station to respond to fires. I wish I could tell you the number of 911 calls that are an aspirin could have cured. You know, those false calls, the calls that are really not emergencies, but you got $1 million fire truck and 4 firefighters rolling up to that truck and rolling up to that house, and there could have been a fire. Let me just say that we have an interlocal agreement, which is great. We have an interlocal agreement with Sugar Land, Stafford, Pearland, Richmond, Rosenberg, that if one of my engines pulls out to go fight a fire, guess what? One of Sugar Land's engines pulls into my fire station. We do the same thing for them. But that keeps the fire trucks where they need to fight fires and puts our squads out on the street to take care of those emergency situations. So, you know, that in itself will save the city $180,000 a year in doing that. So I said infrastructure improvements are a big thing for us to consider. We've completed the construction of Vicksburg Boulevard, the extension as well as the reconstruction of Turtle Creek. We completed the phase 1 part of our construction of the new City Hall complex and in the community center. We completed construction of a $10 million surface water transmission line that's projected to provide services to Riverstone. Tom, I know you're glad to see that. We implemented a bicycle pedestrian mobility plan to provide a safe travel route from Lexington to 1092, and if you've driven into the streets, you've seen those bike paths marked. People just need to learn that when the arrow goes that way, you're supposed to go that way, not this way. But that's a great thing. You know, we're going to continue to look at ways of making mobility easier for our people, and who knows, some of these new plants and places that they're building down on 98, maybe we can get employees to those workplaces on a bicycle and take the road and take the car off of the street. We opened Tom Taylor Parkway, the city's newest east-west corridor. It's an extension of Lexington Boulevard. It was funded through the office of Commissioner Prestige, and we named the road after Fort Bend's first African-American county commissioner. So we're very thankful for that. In our Parks and Recreation, one of the things that we've been faced with over the years is people have wanted to donate things to the city, but we didn't have the ability to accept that gift, so we've now formed a 501c3 committee. So the city, if you all want to give us a check, you know, write it off, give us some land, write it off, we've got the ability to take it. Our monthly membership at our rec center has continued to climb. We recently broke 1,250 members during the summer, which was up from last year. Our annual events have continued to be a success. July 4th, Snowfest, Juneteenth, we continue to have record numbers. We hosted new programs in 2016 the 2016 U, family fun nights, tennis training, boot camps, and a diversity of other youth organizations. One of our programs, a superhero 5K run, which they just had, was very successful, and it drew almost 200 runners involved in dozens of community activities. I know that Councilman Don Smith, Mayor Pro Tem Don Smith, recently had a bike ride, 20, 40, 60-mile bike ride. He and I rode in the car for most of it. But the city manager and I did ride the first 10 miles together. He was pedaling, I had a motorized bike. But I think Don had over 200 people participate in that bike ride, which was fantastic, and I know that's going to grow. So we saw our community block grant continue to thrive, and we make those grants available to a lot of worthwhile agencies within our community that need it, depend on it. We managed the process on the Scenic City recertification. Again, an award that no other city this side of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex got, is that we received the platinum level award for our scenic beauty. So that's not anything to sneeze at, people. That's a great deal. But anyway, our clean restaurants continue to thrive. We have 63 food restaurants in the city that received 95 out of 100 score or better. Recognize that when you go in, they post the score on the front door. They're supposed to. When you see restaurants in Missouri City that have scored that high, tell them thank you. This facility right here better score that high. And it does, by the way. We hosted our first comprehensive plan symposium this year to secure and input feedback from our residents and citizens about what they think we ought to be doing as a city. The meeting drew over 300 citizens and featured Dr. Stephen Kleinberg of the Kinder Institute, who provided an overview of the city's demographic growth and development. Additionally, the staff designed and developed our comprehensive plan, the showmecity.com, to provide a single source of information for our residents, our community partners, and our stakeholders during the planning and development process and implementation of that. The website that you can go to includes a project survey, and if you haven't already done so, please take it. Every voice counts, and in this process will help us determine what the real future needs of our city are. We have a comment card on which you may even share your feedback, good or bad. Another area of continued strong operations focus on our award-winning city is where you're sitting today in this golf course and this facility here. If you haven't had the opportunity to play our championship golf course, I encourage you to do so. On Friday, Good Friday, March 25th, we posted a record 400 rounds of golf on this golf course. And our 6-month total from July through December was almost 30,000 rounds of golf. It's the highest since the city purchased the golf course. And yes, we're beginning to make money. So. And let me just say that, this 400-acre facility, again, with the help of Ron and Rick and other state legislators that helped us pass a law to do it, this is a 400-acre park. That's what the bill was passed to do. It's a park. It belongs to the citizens of Missouri City. We spend $1.9 million a year maintaining the other parks within the city. $1.9 million, and we don't get a dime out of them. This park makes money. But it is a park. It was worth saving. And I continue to say that the city has a pair of pants. It's got different pockets. We saw a 14.5% increase in property value this year. That was $1.5 million went in this pocket. What it comes out of this pocket to maintain this facility will never amount to that. And that's what people need to remember. So anyway, it continues to be what it is. We're becoming the wedding venue site for people. In 2014, we only did 7 weddings, but we were brand new about the time. We did 11 in 2015, and we will end up this year, or fiscal year, with 13, and we've already booked 16 for 2017. So if you're planning on getting remarried, married, have a kid, Ramus, this is the place to do it. Oh.
I get a good rate.
You can get a good rate. Absolutely. Finally, as you saw in the video, we were very excited about being awarded something that Anthony became involved in when he came here. He said, Mayor, one of the things that I want Missouri City to get involved in is becoming an all-American city. So we're in the position right now. There are only 2 cities in Texas that are finalists to become all-American cities. Us and San Antonio. Yeah. So this award recognizes trailblazing efforts to bring residents, local government, businesses, and nonprofit groups together to tackle the most pressing local issues. And as I said, we will be going to Denver, Colorado in June. We will be taking people with us, our partners, to make sure that we do a good sales job. Our application showcased a wide range of commercial, community, and stakeholder partnerships, including those with First T, Fort Bend Independent School District, the county, Access Health, homeowner associations, Men for Change, and Missouri City Green. Now, we need your help to travel to the Nationals to win this prestigious award. In your gift bags today, you didn't just get this for nothing, is an information postcard, and on your tables are donation envelopes. Please take a look at them, and if you're interested, we'd sincerely appreciate donations of any amount, and the contributions are tax deductible. Our All-American ambassadors also are with us today and can answer any questions. Where are they? Where are our ambassadors? Raise your hands. There they are. They can answer any questions you've got about that. If you're an ambassador, we thank you for doing that. Let me just say, folks, we've come a long way. And we still have a long way to go. But one thing I know for sure is that we're second to none and first among many. In the coming months and years, we'll continue to succeed together. And I know that with your help, we can do that. I did notice that one of my other partners and council member, Yolanda Ford, is here. Recognize Yolanda. She's in there. Again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for taking the time to come and hear about our city and about what we're doing. I hope you're as proud of it as I am and as our staff is, and what we continue to do is to make our city continue to be one of the best, if not the best city in the United States to live in. So with that, thank you for your attendance.
Once again, I want to thank Mayor Owen. It's simply an exciting time, a lot going on in Missouri City, a lot to be proud of, and a lot to look forward to.